If the excitement of being with people in the past does not sink into us as much as it did in the past, the reasons behind this situation may be lying in the depths of the lost experiences. Many individuals in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s have started to slowly distance themselves from the social environments they have had in their hearts for many years. This should not be perceived as insensitivity or coldness. On the contrary, it is a reflection of the wisdom and maturity gained after the painful experiences, betrayals, and disappointments brought by life. The first reason is the deep traces left by betrayals and disappointments in the past over time. As we open our hearts in our youth and approach those around us with confidence, small, depressing words, deceit, and betrayals slowly build a roof over our souls over time. The 81-year-old Elif, who used to host dinner and hot conversations, now prefers loneliness because of the frustrations of time. The remaining silent wounds after old friendships remind us that we should now act more cautiously to our hearts. Thus, every new encounter begins to be taken care of before it turns into a risk factor. This is called protecting one's fragile side. It should be seen as a conscious step that he took in the name of protecting one's fragile side, because every pain leaves such deep marks in our experience heart that it becomes inevitable to isolate ourselves slowly to not experience the same pain again. The second reason is the longing to hear deep and meaningful conversations instead of superficial conversations. People who can endure meaningless conversations with empty words in their youth years become aware of the weight of words and the value of real feelings over time. The 76-year-old Mr. Hakan, who used to be the shining star of his social circle, has started to get bored of conversations that are just for words as the day passes. Crowded meetings and meaningless conversations seem like a burden to his soul, because what he is looking for is meaningful and sincere dialogues that warm his heart. This preference is actually a reflection of the desire to reach inner peace by moving away from the confusion of life. The third factor is to feel that the people around us no longer understand us. The flow of time changes the views, values, and even the styles of communication of the world. The stories we used to tell, our experiences, cannot be fully understood by the younger generation anymore. In this case, the 79-year-old retired teacher is saddened by Mrs. Merv. In family gatherings, while the experiences of the grandchildren and cousins are perceived as simple anecdotes, Mrs. Merv's knowledge of life, which she has accumulated over the years, seems to be forgotten in the shadow of technology and fast life. This feeling turns into a more alienating and even lonely distance in our social environment. This emotional gap between people sometimes deepens so much that it seems like the safest way to escape from the confusion of the outside world is to seek refuge in our inner world. The fourth reason is the fear of being a burden to our loved ones. As age progresses, the deep respect we have for our loved ones in our hearts, the deep sense of responsibility we feel towards them, sometimes leads us to leave our own needs in the background in order not to complicate their lives. The 84-year-old Dulfrey Dunbay prefers to withdraw from social events and meetings in order not to complicate the lives of her family and loved ones. Perhaps the thing she fears the most about asking for help is to bother her loved ones. This concern almost takes her away from society. While she is forced to isolate herself from her loved ones, it turns out to be a delicate feeling that requires her not to forget how valuable her existence is. This step, which she takes in order not to be a burden to the lives of her loved ones, brings her inner strength and maturity with her. The fifth reason is the old ties that have been attached to the old and are quietly broken. In the flow of life, there may be some relationships, conflicts, or dramatic farewells. But without any dramatic farewells, time slowly comes to an end. Ruya, who is 73 years old, has noticed that the bond between her closest friend, whom she has met regularly for years, has faded with time. As days, weeks, and months chase each other, she has left the place of joyful moments shared in the past to short and meaningless greetings. Although this situation seems to be sad on the surface, it turns out to be a natural result of the fact that both sides are adapted to the new life cycles. The end of old friendships quietly reveals the necessity of people to establish appropriate relationships according to their own values and rhythm of life. Because sometimes love exists in its own flow, not by force. The sixth and last matter is the peace that the discovery that we are the best friends of ourselves brings. With time, instead of social crowds, loneliness, being alone, the value of inner tranquility emerges. Mr. Gure, who is 82 years old, has learned to be satisfied with himself when he spends time alone instead of the conversations, which used to be a joyful meeting point of his home. The tranquility he finds in his inner world makes him feel the real freedom that life offers him, instead of the interest or search for approval from outside. He finds peace in his own thoughts, memories, and dreams, and lives every moment of life more intensely. This new lifestyle is not to be confined to the social environment. It means to rediscover himself and find the value he deserves in himself. Loneliness is actually the celebration of inner wealth and individuality, rather than the lack of crowd. In light of all these reasons, the dynamics that lie behind the distance from our social environment are actually the result of a personal transformation. And it is possible to see that this transformation is a result of the experiences gained throughout life and the evolution. People experience pain, disappointment, and perhaps betrayal over the years. Now, in every meeting, they weigh the weight of every conversation and make conscious choices to protect themselves. Although this process seems like a defense mechanism against the outside world, it is actually a process of self-worth, mental health, and inner peace. As a result, we no longer want to spend time with the people we used to love, and it does not make us lack or cold. On the contrary, the years, experiences, and accumulated knowledge that life brings are a natural result. Returning to our inner world, discovering who we are in the real sense, offers us our most valuable treasures over time. Maybe life is a way for us to remain silent, to be selective, and to listen to our inner voice, which has taught us how important it is. If these thoughts have touched you too, which material is better for you? If these thoughts have touched you too, perhaps you can recognize yourself in one or more of these reasons. Whether it is protecting your fragile side, seeking meaningful conversations, feeling misunderstood, fearing to be a burden, letting go of fading ties, or finding peace in your own company, all are part of a deep and natural transformation that comes with age and experience. It is not withdrawal from life, but a conscious choice to live it more intentionally, with more value for your time, energy, and heart. And maybe, just maybe, the real essence of life is not in how many people surround us, but in how peacefully and truthfully we can sit with ourselves. If you enjoyed these reflections, remember to like, subscribe, and join us for more inspiring stories.